We have quite the updates for you in the Sean Combs story. Jay-Z has just been named in a lawsuit as the previously unidentified celebrity who allegedly raped a 13-year-old girl. Also, the ex-wife of an NHL player has been revealed as another Combs accuser, and the back and forth between prosecutors and Combs lawyers continues. We're going to break it all down for you right now. Remember, this all comes as Sean Combs sits in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn, New York, after being denied bail a third time as he awaits trial next year on sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution charges. The man accused of engaging in a scheme going on for years where he allegedly abused, threatened, and coerced women to fulfill his sexual desires and operated a criminal enterprise engaged in all sorts of illicit activity. Prosecutors say that includes sex trafficking, kidnapping, arson, forced labor, obstruction, aimed when it comes to Sean Combs' alleged misdeeds. Well, it turns out one big name has just come to the surface. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, that's right, the rapper and entrepreneur, has just been identified as that unnamed celebrity in a lawsuit that we covered right here on Sidebar a few weeks ago. Actually, he has just been named as a defendant now in that lawsuit. You might recall there was this lawsuit that was filed against Sean Combs back in October, where an unnamed Jane Doe alleges that back on September 7th, 2000, when she was just 13 years old, she was taken to a Video Music Awards, VMA's after party. She said that is when Sean Combs, along with a male and female celebrity, entered the room. And Combs allegedly grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Well, now, celebrity A, who was that unnamed celebrity, has been identified as Sean Carter. This is a part of a newly filed amended complaint. And it reads, Combs then threw plaintiff toward a wall, causing plaintiff to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. At that point, Carter began removing plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. The complaint says, and I won't get into graphic detail, but Jay-Z raped this teen. And then it goes on to say that Diddy allegedly raped her too, that they took turns. And she claims that she actually fought back, hit Combs in the neck, was able to grab her clothes and run out of the room. Incredibly disturbing allegations. And she is suing both men under the New York Motivated Gender Violence Protection Act, which is a law that has been used by other accusers against Sean Combs. And it allows for someone to sue against their attacker who commits some sort of violent act upon them. It doesn't have to be sexual per se, but it has to be motivated by their gender. Actually, here's what it says in the complaint. The requirement that the crime of violence be committed because of gender or on the basis of gender and due at least in part to an animus based on the victim's gender is satisfied because defendants Combs and Carter forced minor plaintiff to engage in a sexual interaction without consent. Jane Doe could not effectively consent because of her age. The non-consensual sexual touching of a minor herein presented a serious risk of physical injury and in fact caused such injury. Gender animus inheres when consent is absent. And I will also tell you that in this lawsuit, it seems to state or allege that Carter, Jay-Z, is not only allegedly a player in this incident, but that he could be included in other situations. Because at the very beginning of the complaint, it reads, Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences. He believes he is above the law. He is not. His close friend Sean Carter has been with Combs during many such instances described herein. Both perpetrators must face justice. And the lawsuit also doubles down on how close Combs and Carter are. Because at one point it reads, the two are apparently so close that Combs stated in 2023 that Carter is the only person other than Combs' mother who is allowed to call him by his legal first name of Sean. This lawsuit was filed by Tony Busby. This is that Texas attorney who claims to represent over 100 alleged victims of Sean Combs. And he indicated in the past that he would name names. And there was reporting, particularly by TMZ, that high-profile people had reached out to him to settle claims so that they wouldn't be listed in lawsuits. They wouldn't be named in lawsuits. Well, with that in mind, take a listen to what Jay-Z had to say, because he released a statement after the filing of this lawsuit. And it reads in part, quote, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. He goes on to say, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence." He continues, "My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your moral world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." Now, because again, if you take these allegations as true, if you're taking what he's saying as true, and by the way, Busby did indicate that Carter received a letter from him requesting a mediation. He knew negotiations broke down, if there were any kind of negotiations, and that this lawsuit would be filed. So it appears that this response was definitely planned in advance, and he's going to fight it. He's going to fight it. Now, something interesting to note, when Sean Carter says that Tony Busby is an ambulance chaser, that he threw out this demand letter, that he was trying to essentially extort him, Busby himself has been sued. He has been sued by an unnamed high-profile public figure, someone apparently connected or friends with Sean Combs, who alleged that Busby, quote, shamelessly tried to extort him by threatening to file a lawsuit against him unless he pays up. So again, something to think about as we hear about these Tony Busby lawsuits and we think about Jay-Z's response. So Jay-Z is not backing down, at least from this statement. Having said that, while he is completely innocent, you do have to wonder now whether this lawsuit has been filed, whether other lawsuits will come down the pike. That's what happened with Sean Combs. But to be clear about something, while this is essentially an alleged crime, what's being discussed, this is a lawsuit. This is a civil case. The burden of proof is much lower, much tougher based on this fact pattern alone, whether a federal crime would trigger. But again, whatever it is, these are allegations. Either way, these are allegations. By the way, in response to Jay-Z, Tony Busby just posted something on X, formerly Twitter, that is very interesting, and it makes you wonder if whether or not Jay-Z is that unnamed plaintiff, because he writes, "Regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not the media."
Yo, hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.